Hi, Scorpio. This is Genevieve with Belladonna and Moonbeams. How are y'all doing? I am doing really well. This is the reading for the week of November 30th through December 6th, 2020, which means that we are ending 2020. Ugh. So I've never seen a year like this. I don't think anyone has. First, we had COVID, and then we had the riots, which I have seen riots before back in the 60s and 70s. And then we had the craziest election ever. And things just, we're still in COVID. They're not getting better. I wish I could just take a big hug and put my arms around everybody right now. I really, really do. But I can't. I can't even go put my arms around my family. So I'm going to send you a big psychic hug. I love you. Now, one of the things that's exciting, though, is that on the 21st is the winter solstice. It's also the age of Aquarius. And then the 25th is Christmas. So the first reading we get is a Hierophant. So we're going to flip it over. The Hierophant is kind of like a Pope type person. He's got these two priests down there, or two supplicants, and he's teaching them. This tells me that you need to be teachable right now. Sometimes that's hard to be teachable. Sometimes we don't want to learn anything. But universe is saying that you are to be teachable. You are to have your eyes and your brain and your heart open to the lessons and the gifts the universe will give you. The universe is going to give you things, but you have to be open to it. The next card we get is the Lovers. We're going to flip this over. Sometimes this means that literal lovers, like a relationship. I think that this means in your case that you need to fall in love with universe. You need to fall in love with the God, the goddess, the universe, source, whatever. Because as you fall in love with them, you also fall in love with yourself. Because guess what? They live inside of you. Yeah, they do. You're never alone because you're inhabited by the God and the goddess. And then we get the Death card. Flip it over. It was upside down though, which says death is all about change happening. Well, because it was reversed, I don't think that change is going to be as radical, but there's definitely some changes happening in your life, Scorpios. Scorpios? Can I call you Scorpies? Because I call people Cappies for Capricorns. I don't know. But yeah, there's some changes coming. I can't remember his name. There was a song in the 60s. The change is a-coming. So the first card I'm pulling from is a Grimalkin Tarot deck, which Grimalkin means cat. And this is the Queen of Cups. It's a pretty cat. And he's looking at the bird, like cats often do. But he's sitting on his pretty chair, surrounded by flowers. And this card says that you really don't want this change. You want to stay there on your pretty little resting place and enjoy what you have instead of spreading your wings and finding what you don't have. Not in a bad way, not like you're lusting after what you don't have. But in other words, you need to appreciate what you do have. The next card I get is from the Crow Tarot deck. And this is Judgment. This card says you are to use your judgment. You are to use your intuition that's inside of each of us to find your answers. And as water signs, you tend to be psychic anyway. So you have those answers. Listen to your guides and use your judgment. Good judgment means that you don't jump off the Empire State Building. Good judgment means you get up, you eat breakfast, you have your coffee, but that may or may not be good judgment, and you go about your life one step at a time, not jumping off the Empire State Building. And finally, I'm pulling from the Spell Casting Oracle deck. And the first card we get is Travel. So this card tells me that you're getting ready to start on some travel. I don't know how much, but you're definitely going somewhere. Sometimes when I get the travel card, it just means I'm running down to Norman, which is like 30 miles. Or sometimes it means I'm running over to Jefferson, Texas, which is like 6 hours. But you're definitely going to do some traveling. It could also mean astral traveling, but I'm not believing that for this. And this card is a psychic abilities card. So this card says that once again, you have the abilities you need to make the decisions you need to make. So everybody's psychic abilities can be different. There's like 5 clairs: clairaudience, clairsentience, blah, blah. There's also reading tarot, reading oracle cards, asking your pendulum, just a million different ways. And you know what you are being called to look at. It's not what I'm called to do. It's what you're called to do. And that's what we are supposed to be doing, is what we are called to do. Now, looking at my crystal ball, I see a cut, which says to me that you are sad about some things, that you are feeling like things are cut, that you're losing those ties behind you, and you're cutting a cord to some things that you're leaving behind. Sometimes when you cut that cord, it's positive. In fact, a lot of times when you're doing healing, you have to cut the cords that bind you. Sometimes you have to literally, in your brain, visualize cutting that cord for things that have kept you from advancing. And I see a sword, which tells me that you are supposed to cut that cord with a sword and cut it just completely in two. You are not supposed to just cut it a little bit, to where it's unraveled. No, it's got to be severed. Whatever this changes, whatever death is telling you about, it's got to stop now. I see lace. Lace has a lot of different little designs in it and things that are pretty, but it's beautiful. And when you make these changes, when you cut that cord, when you start doing your healing and your shadow work, it's going to be beautiful, like a lace pattern. It's going to hold you in their arms and welcome you. Namaste, y'all. If you want to do a private reading, send me a text to 405-512-9400. Tomorrow, I'm going to be asking my pendulum your yes and no questions. So send me your questions in a text to 405-512-9400. And go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you never miss another video again. Bye, y'all.